This is Tuesday, June 27th. There are 22 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2023. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog.
VANUHTWE go. Oh my God, I love Live Journal and my Live Journal wants me. Current food inside the reptile, current music, Refuge 73. I love the color scheme, it's pink and purple.
Well, hello, everyone. I am your host, James Riley, and joining me on the podcast, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
And joining us from the unofficial blog, Andy Wagner.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And joining us from IO9 and Gizmodo, Germain Lussier.
Hello. Thanks for having me back.
Yes, thank you. So welcome, everyone, to the start of, I guess, the not quite the final countdown, because we have 3 weeks. So we're going to get to your comments and questions during the show. You can tweet us at SD_comic_con or use the hashtag SDConCast. We'll also be keeping an eye on the YouTube live chat if you wish to comment or ask a question there. But first up, let's talk to Germain and Carrie. Why don't you kick it off?
So should we just give kind of a rundown again? I mean, I think most of our listeners kind of know the state of the union for where the studios are, for who's in, who's out. But let's just kind of go over it again, if you don't mind.
Sure. No, of course. So I mean, this is the reason that there's even an issue this year are these strikes that are happening in Hollywood. Obviously, right now the writers have been on strike for several weeks. There's been no movement with that union, and as of the end of this week, looks like the Screen Actors Guild is going to be on strike as well. Just in the last 2-3 hours, a letter came out with Meryl Streep and Jennifer Lawrence signing it, saying, "Hey, you guys better meet our demands." So it seems more likely than not that all actors and all creators are not going to be able to promote their works through the studio. They can promote them themselves. I know the writers. I don't know how it's going to work with the actors. So that basically means that, I guess what it means in the big scope of it is that these people the Hollywood studios don't know when their movies are coming out. When are they going to make it? So everything that a Marvel announced last year, that had release dates and all this stuff, that has all been pushed back. And even the pushbacks are tentative because we don't know if those dates are going to be hit. So if none of these studios know when their projects are coming out, then why would they go to Comic-Con to promote them? And why would they go to Comic-Con to promote them if they can't bring the actors? Yeah, you could probably bring a director, a producer, and that's fine in a few very small cases. But without the actors, there's almost no point. So that's where it leaves us with this mishmash of some are coming, some are coming, not coming. Some are sort of coming, and so that's kind of why we're in this weird gray area.
Yep. So how of the studios who aren't coming, I mean, I agree. I think a lot of it is the strike. We had several Marvel actors saying yeah, I'm going to be at Comic-Con, which was, a pretty good indication that Marvel was planning to come to Comic-Con. But you kind of have to imagine that some of these are not strike related. I know HBO is not. It's just timing. Do you think any of the others are due to timing, or do you think it's all just the strikes?
I think it's mostly the strike. I think in the case maybe of a Netflix, it has nothing to do with the strike because you guys reported that they had their own convention into Doom. Lucasfilm hasn't really been a big thing at Comic-Con in a while, and they just had Celebration 2 months ago. So they don't really have anything new to do. You can always do something, but the thing is that are you going to fly in, even without strikes? Are you going to fly in Rosario Dawson and Dave Filoni and all their people to show a new trailer? It's just not right, and then have Chris Hardwick ask you 30 minutes of questions and then 2 fan questions, and that's the whole thing. Because that's the thing. So it's a big expense. So I would say, in my estimation, it's probably 90% strike related. Because like you said, I think Marvel, there was no way they weren't going to come. They have 3 or 4 things in the can, and then a bunch of things that are filming, but for me, I think the most interesting thing really is, and I feel like I say this every single year, is this the year that Warner Brothers steals Comic-Con? And it's never the year Warner Brothers steals Comic-Con, no matter what they do, no matter how many screens they open up. Marvel comes out at the end of the night and is like, "Oh, we're making Fantastic Four," and then it's over. But this could be the year. It could be. I think even without actors, Warner Brothers could come. They have enough big personalities and the directors and producers and they could show footage. Today, I don't know, they cast Superman, James Gunn cast Superman and Lois Lane today. Shoot a video tomorrow. Hey, Comic-Con, sorry we can't make it, blah, blah, blah. That's it. All you need to do. So, and and then of course they have a bunch of big movies. As James Wan is very famous for this, Denis Villeneuve, so they have a lot of big personalities they could bring out. So Warner Brothers got in touch with me, like, hey, you coming to Comic-Con? And I'm like, yeah, you guys coming to Comic-Con? They're like, we'll let you know. And I was like, okay, great, thanks, I appreciate it. So I think they're probably up in the air. I mean, I think that's probably, I'm dying to know what's going on with like the people who schedule Comic-Con. Like, what are they doing? Are they like holding these slots? Are they trying to fit things in?
I am so glad that I am not them. Like, it just has to be a nightmare on their end. Like, yeah, because I've heard the same thing. I've heard from several folks, like, we don't know, like, if we're in or not, TBD. And it's like, well, you're a little close here.
Yeah, especially to do it like really big, right? Like, it's almost like it's easier to do it if there aren't actors. If you don't need to fly in Jason Momoa or Timothy Chalamet, if you just need to fly James Wan down, who's probably working on the lot, in the lot in Burbank on that movie or wherever his office is, So that almost seems like an easier thing to do. And I just keep thinking about, and I wrote about it today a little bit, about like in 2013 when James Gunn had been filming Guardians of the Galaxy for like 2 weeks, and he cut like a mini trailer just for Comic-Con. And that was like really Marvel, but it also was like, now like he saw what that did. He saw the excitement that did, that has went on to literally make his career. Like, why, even if he doesn't show anything, if he and Peter Safran come out, the new heads of DC, show the concept art we've seen from the comics, and just answer questions about DC films, what they're doing. Oh, we haven't cast a Batman yet. Oh yeah, Andy Muschietti. That would be, it would be huge. It would be great, like, but again, will people see that as crossing a picket line? James Gunn is a really interesting thing because he's a director, an actor. No, not director. Well, he is an actor, but not in this. He's a director, he's a writer, and he's an executive. So that's a weird thing where you're like, oh, James, where are you sitting on this? So
and I do just want to point out, I love James Gunn. I think he's great. But he did go to, I think, the New York premiere of Guardians of the Galaxy after the strike had started, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. It's again, there are people who can promote their stuff a little bit. There's, again, a little bit of a gray area there. And like I said, the fact, and I even emailed his people and like, hey, where's he stand on this? And of course, just crickets. Like, he doesn't want to say anything.
So with all that being said, it sounds like the odds are pretty good of DC showing up in Hall H this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the odds are pretty good. I mean, and if they don't, it feels like a miss to me. I think this, with Marvel not coming, you have, like you said, have a famous producer, director, so he doesn't fall into the two guilds. He just happened, and he just cast his two big leads, before the strike at the end of this week, most likely. It feels like they should do it, and it feels like they should, bring. Sorry, at CinemaCon this year they showed footage from Aquaman and footage from Barbie. Well, Barbie's going to be out, but footage from Wonka, all the stuff that hasn't been released yet. Why not just bring that stuff to Comic-Con? And why not have James Gunn do it? Have him host the whole thing. I mean, because you can't hire like an Aisha Tyler or something like they might in past, Yvette Nicole Brown or something, because of the actor strike. But yeah, I feel like, I think it's 50-50 on DC showing up, and maybe like 75-25 on Warner Brothers showing up. But if it was me, if I was in charge of it, I would do whatever I could, because the window is there to be the big buzzy thing, and they've never been able to take it. And now here's the open.
It's like literally your only competition at the moment, at least, is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie. Like, that's it.
Right.
You can top that.
Right.
Do you think that, I've seen a lot of people saying that because, they did announce the casting today, that likely means DC won't be going. Especially again, if actors are going to strike, I'm with you. Like, I feel like it makes sense to get it out now and maybe be able to film something with them.
Yeah. I don't think that it's impossible these days to hold news. It's so rare that everybody in that room doesn't know that Mahershala Ali is coming out. Like it's a very rare thing, you know. So I think it's probably smart to get ahead of it, and then but nobody's seen them. Nobody's seen them talk about it. They filmed screen tests. They probably wouldn't show screen tests because it's probably not a finished costume. They probably have him in like Henry Cavill's costume or something like that. But you could. Gunn is very, very of the fans. He's on his Twitter. He's on his Blue Sky. He's out there, you know. And I think Warner Brothers sees that. Warner Brothers is kind of embracing that. I think, you know, it's a whole other conversation why the Flash didn't do so well. But Warner Brothers tried everything, you know, from bringing the celebrities in to the fan screenings to like letting us tweet about it months and months in advance. They really tried to engage. It didn't work ultimately, but I think this could be, and that's another reason too. You have that big swing and a miss of the Flash that's not fresh on everybody's mind. So if you come into Comic-Con and you don't talk about like Dune and Aquaman and whatever else, give us some surprises, you know. I would be very surprised.
Well, what about things like any foreign studios? Maybe bringing something like Timothy Eli asked in the chat if we know if Toho's Godzilla is coming, because I think they have another movie coming out soon. So you think any of the foreign companies would bring something knowing that the US studios really can't bring some stuff with the strikes going on?
Definitely not my area of expertise, but just like educated guess, it definitely sounds like a great idea. But the logistics of it, you know, do they have the in with Comic-Con? Does Comic-Con have the relationship to let like Toho come into Hall H? And do they have the foresight of it? All of this sort of happened, you know, in the last 2-3 months, right? Where like, you know, if you were a big foreign, you know, film production company, to mount like a big Hall H panel or even any kind of Comic-Con panel, doesn't be Hall H, it's a production. So I think it's possible, you know. I mean, you know, it's happened on a very rare occasion, right? Where like a company's come in a movie we've never ever heard about and tried to steal some buzz, you know. But imagine like the company made RRR and we hadn't seen it, brought that in. It's like, hey, check out this movie, you know. I mean, hypothetically, it sounds like a good idea, but at the same time, maybe they just want to stay away. Maybe it feels a little wrong to go in a certain aspect.
I actually have a question that's kind of an open question here for everyone. Germain, you'd mentioned Jennifer Lawrence just a couple hours ago writing that letter saying, hey, meet our demands or else. Now, my question is, if the SAG leadership, you know, whatever, the president, all them, if they decide not to strike, what does that do for SAG with this whole Jennifer Lawrence and co ultimatum?
Well, I think that Jennifer Lawrence, those are just kind of the big names that were representing everybody. So I think if they don't strike, the demands will be met. I'm in a union and we struck at the beginning of last year, Geo Media, and yeah, I mean, like they're just the vocal, you know, top of the line people that are for everybody, you know. So yeah, so if they don't strike, everybody will get what they want. And honestly, like a Jennifer Lawrence and Meryl Streep, they can get whatever they want. It's really about, you know, the working actor getting their rights and to be able to keep their likenesses and all these other things that I haven't done enough research to know exactly what they're looking for here and that the studios are against. But I side with the artists and not studios in all these things.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're the same. So let's say hypothetically that SAG does reach an agreement here within the next couple days. Do we think that then any of these studios are going to like scramble to put something together for Comic-Con who've said like, no, we're not going, or do you think it's just too late, not enough time?
I know. I mostly know about movies and stuff. I think the one kind of wild card with that really is interesting to me is like an AMC. AMC, I tried to reach out to them today and said, hey, Walking Dead. I mean, it feels like Walking Dead always is at Comic-Con. You have new shows coming out, and they're like, we'll let you know when we have news to share. So I feels like they're probably going to do something, but imagine a Walking Dead panel without the cast. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You can bring out like Scott Gimble. I don't care, man. I don't care anyway. We've talked about this. Freaking Walking Dead.
You love
But
Fear the Walking Dead.
I
It's your
love Fear the
favorite
Walking
panel.
Dead. I love all the Walking Dead panels. They're so much fun. No, I'm kidding. I really hate them. But there's obviously a lot of fans, and so, but I don't think those fans would be excited to watch a trailer for like the Daryl Dixon show if Norman Reedus wasn't there. So I feel like, for a show like that, maybe that's probably what, if I would imagine if the SAG does strike, AMC might not come, which would be as big a blow as HBO or Marvel, I think. I mean, that's usually like a huge block of time on Friday, right? That's like, oh my God, these massive shows. And even though they're not 6-7 years ago massive, it's still Hall H worthy.
So to continue our hypothetical strike talks, let's say the writers are still striking, here in 3 weeks, which at this point it kind of seems like they will be.
Yes.
Do they go to Comic-Con? Do they picket? Do they protest? What do we think?
I read your piece, I think, Carrie, on your site about this, and I think you're right. It doesn't seem like the right move to do that. It's like, if the studios aren't there, why would you picket fans? Fans are just there to hang out. Just because Marvel is on the floor and they're talking about whatever their posters for the Marvels or any of these movies. I don't think the writers want to get into that. Now maybe they have people standing out there handing out flyers, information, getting the word out there, but full on protests / pickets, that would seem a little aggressive to me. But but maybe like like at a specific offsite or something, if there was a I don't know, if like if Paramount brought Dungeons and Dragons like they did last year, I've been on the Paramount line a couple times last week to see some of the new movies, and it feels terrible because they're picketing and you have to cross the picket line to see a movie, and I hate it. But yeah, it's because but if a studio brought one of their properties there, you could do it there because then it's directly against the studio. But you guys had said, are you going to stand by the hotels or this? They're not picketing hotels. I mean, we got our Bayfront picket last year, so we'll see. I think.
Yeah, we don't need another one, right?
No, definitely no.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about offsites. Honestly, I don't know how likely it is, so I'd like to get your opinion. The number one thing that I know Barbie comes out like basically the day of Comic-Con, but all I want is something in the gas lamp. I don't care if it's 3 teams. I don't care. I just want something. How likely do you think we're going to get anything Barbie?
I think by that time it's over. I mean, by that time it's over, right? Like the marketing. I mean, at the same time, a movie opens Thursday. It opens like first day of Comic-Con, hypothetically, I believe. So I guess they could go there to drum up some stuff, especially if Warner Brothers is already down there with their teams. But they did the press junket this past week. They're trying to get everybody out there, just before the actors have to go on strike. And every once in a while, right, we get a little something for a movie that's just in theaters. It's not and that's something that would never happens.
Yeah.
And they've done some great marketing for this movie, so it's possible. Anything is possible, but I think Warner Brothers, they have at that point they're gonna put that's all right, that's done. What's next? And
there's a Barbie Dreamhouse themed Airbnb open right now up in Malibu, which I think is just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
I would totally go stay there.
Yeah. Things would be very expensive and very hard to get, but
oh yeah, but I'd still do it if I got the chance.
Oh yeah, totally. No, it's a great marketing ploy. Again, example of a really smart idea that the team is doing with that. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you wish would do an offsite this year?
And also, I mean, again, we know Disney's not coming, but they have Haunted Mansion coming out. You could do a cool Haunted Mansion thing, right? I know we have the real Haunted Mansion, in the middle between LA and San Diego. That would be super duper cool. The Five Nights at Freddy's is coming out. Come on, how do you not have the pizza place with the freaking creepy guys there? That would be super duper rad. But again, those are both studios that are not coming to Comic-Con, so probably ain't gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, also like, I mean, I know you guys, it's been widely reported Lionsgate Film isn't coming, but you know, they'll be there with like the Continental on Peacock. But a new Hunger Games movie's coming out, and you're not going to promote it at Comic-Con. Like, I know like it's about the stars, right? And it's about Rachel Ziegler being in that
Yeah.
movie and Peter Dinklage and stuff, but Hunger Games is another thing. When I think of Hunger Games, I think of Comic-Con, you know, and so to not do anything feels like a miss. So maybe an offsite, maybe you run around and grab weapons. You could do something Hunger Games, right? Who knows?
So what do we think Hall H is even going to look like this year? I mean, we know, again, Paramount is going to bring the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Maybe DC. I'm sure we'll still get some stuff like, Kevin Smith doing his annual thing.
Yeah.
What else do we even think is going to be in Hall H? Any guesses?
Yeah. I mean, you again, I'd be curious if Paramount doesn't use that. Obviously they want to promote the new Turtles movie. The new Turtles movie is super duper awesome. I saw it last week and it's so great. And so it'd be great if they did that and then got people to see it, screened it, and if there's even a theater down there anymore, who freaking knows?
There's not.
Yeah,
No.
exactly right. There you go. Maybe not. Maybe Petco. Take Petco out. But probably not. That's a gone in the past. But they have a bunch of big movies coming out in the next couple. Like they have Sonic 3, Gladiator 2, new Transformers, 2 new Quiet Place movies. Mission Impossible comes out the week after. Oh, no, it's the week before. So no, Mission Impossible already out. But they could spend the time doing that. But in terms of like bigger things, I think like the Collider panel is an example of the kind of thing that's going to happen. I talked to Steve a lot, and he's very, very shady about like who he's bringing. But I would imagine it's like Guillermo del Toro or Tim, the guy who made Terminator: Dark Fate and Deadpool, Tim Miller. He's because Steve's friends with a lot of guys, so like that's kind of how he does it. So and he promises, like he's put on Twitter, and you guys reported new footage and stuff.
Yep.
So that might be like the kind of backdoor thing, is that like bringing in kind of talent like that. And hey, maybe we have some downtime. It would be weird, but you could have 2 hours with nobody in Hall H. And to me, that's going to be the interesting thing. The interesting thing is not so much what's going to happen in Hall H, because you can program it or leave it open, is that what does a not jam-packed the entire day Hall H do to the rest of the convention and the rest of the gas
talked about this a lot.
Have you? Okay, yeah. Like, yeah, that's like 6,000 inside and another couple thousand outside. So say 10,000 people out of 100, not a lot, but like spread that out. It's gonna like.
Well, and you got to figure too, it won't just be Hall H. I mean, Ballroom 20, I'm going to assume, is also not going to be as packed as it normally would. So then again, those people have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real crowded floor, I think.
Yeah, and it's already just terrible, right? The floor these last couple of years. So, I mean, it might be a year where like a lot of people look at the schedule and they're like, "Oh, I'm finally going to go to that Lost podcast thing I always wanted to go to, but it's always scheduled up against something." And that would be cool. I'd love to go to a Hasbro panel. I'd love to go. I'd never get to go to see the toys or any of that stuff. Like I think like Star Wars is actually having a publishing panel. And so that's a cool way to get in there and learn about some new Star Wars stuff that's not movies or TV. So yeah, I mean, it would be cool if people were like, well, I don't want to wait in line, for, the Funko, the conventions floor. So maybe we'll go upstairs and see some panels. I hope.
Yeah.
Or maybe go to a restaurant, go hang out, go to your pool. I've never gone. Wait, that's not true. Once in the last 20 years, I went into the pool at a hotel at Comic-Con. And maybe this is the year. I literally thought about it earlier. I was like, I think I'm going to pack my bathing suit this year. If I have it, I don't even know. My hotel is so far away that it might actually be like cold there during July. So I'm not actually sure if they have a pool. Maybe it's indoors.
Well, all the nice weather is starting to come out down here in San Diego. It's really starting to get beautiful now.
All right, good. Yeah. I'm in LA. It's going to be hot this weekend, July 4th. And I don't want it too hot, Comic-Con, but better hot than not.
The May gray and June gloom was so bad, it was actually getting talked about on the news.
Yeah, it's been weird. It's going to be really hot like September out of nowhere. But yeah.
Was there anything you were looking forward to this year, Germain? Just you personally?
I thought this was going to be the year that we got our fantastic forecast. I was really excited to be in the room for that, and I was really excited for Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman to fly in for Deadpool. I mean, and like I was thinking maybe, like if Sony came with a new Ghostbusters movie, I was like, oh my God, imagine you brought out like Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray. It'd be so cool. Paul Rudd. Like there's so many things that you could do if you had the unlimited marketing budget and none of these strikes. Maybe it like opens things up for New York Comic Con in a couple months. Maybe that gets a little better. Things are better. But honestly, like I've been half joking, half not, that I am most looking forward to a chiller Comic Con. Even if the crowds, if the crowds are like wild, I've been to every booth a billion times. I've gone for decades to this thing. I would just like to go to other stuff. I just want to like walk around. I want to sit, have a drink on like a terrace and look out at it. I just want to sit and look at the convention. So, like I want to hang out in the Marriott bar and just get smashed at 2:00 in the afternoon. Oh, well, I shouldn't do that because I'm working, but like, maybe at 8:00 in the evening.
So expensive.
Yeah. Well, during the day, the problem is I need to like turn around some articles. But like I said to you guys earlier, I don't know without the lack of stuff, I don't know what we're going to be writing about. It's going to be about trying to find stories and stuff, and that's actual work. I like just give me the things to write about. Just tell me what to say, Kevin Feige. Just tell me, and I'll type it and I'll put it on the internet for you.
James Binder mentioned in the chat that at least y'all don't have the wildfire smoke like we do, and I'm just going to say this time, all right, this time.
We do get that. Oh, he must be up north. Yes, that can be terrible. Really sad.
Yeah.
I think going around and seeing new stuff, finding out things that you've always wanted to check out that you see on the schedule and always is conflicting with things you have to do for work or anything else like that is going to be something that I think this is going to be the year for it. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. And what'll it do to next year? Like I'd bet everything will be kind of cleared up by next year, and then projects will kind of be back on the docket, and things will probably get back to normal. But if I like, my work is paying for most of my expenses to go to this thing. But if I was a fan and I was paying, and I went through Hotel Apocalypse and had to reserve a ticket last year and all these things, I'd be kind of upset. I don't know if I'd want to come back if I couldn't do all the things I want. And like, I wrote about this again a little bit today too. It's everybody's like, finally, Comic-Con's going to be about the comics again. And I'm like, well, but it's not yet, like if that's going to happen, it's going to take some time. The people who paid all that money, who did all that stuff, they want Star Wars. They want Marvel, they want the big stuff. There are obviously lots of people who don't, but the majority do. That's why it's been selling out for so long. So it would take a long time for it to kind of transition into a lower gear. This is kind of like, like you dropped it from like fifth gear to second gear in like 2 seconds. And I think, it might turn some people off next year. And maybe that means I can stay at a hotel that's in walking distance again, because it hasn't happened the last couple of years.
But having said that, I mean, I think we at least, maybe not the average person, but we at least understand that like the reason those things aren't there is again because of the strikes, which is outside of Comic-Con's control. It is what it is.
Totally.
And I mean, I think we'll see the studios back next year, assuming timing makes sense. I mean, do you?
Yeah, I think so. I think we will. I mean, like I think maybe not Netflix if they keep going to Doom. Maybe not Disney, probably not next year because there's a D23. But probably Marvel still because Marvel is just so synonymous. Excuse me. By then, those big HBO shows will be ready to go again, or at least shooting. Last of Us, House of the Dragon. I think House of the Dragon actually has been filming now. So
yeah, it's filmed some. Yeah.
So, they could have, if everything was okay, brought the people there and shown some stuff. They're not going to, but could have. I think they'll come back. I think it's just an easy thing. It's all one-stop shopping for your marketing dollar,
Yeah.
it's not what it was obviously 10 years ago, when, it could make or break an entire film, but it can definitely make it, and it can definitely help, and it could probably hurt, but you also, you bring your best stuff out there. I've said this before a million times. I've never been more excited for a movie than Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch. When I saw that trailer, I'm like, this is going to be the next evolution of cinema. It was not, but that, they got me excited at that Comic-Con panel.
Yep.
So,
Yep. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up a reader. It's not so much a question, but just a point. And I know you are a big football fan. Amy H said, maybe we will still get Ryan Reynolds for Welcome to Wrexham panel. And it is worth pointing out that they actually have a game in San Diego, like 2 days after the convention.
Oh God, I'm so mad. Yes. Wrexham is playing Manchester United in a friendly match the next couple days later in San Diego, like the Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it's Tuesday.
Who doesn't want to stay in town 3 extra days to watch, like the B players from Manchester United annihilate Wrexham? But yeah, I think he'll be around. I think he'll come down for it. I mean, though at the same time they're filming Deadpool, so maybe he can't. That's filming without writers is very, very weird and shady, and especially with Ryan Reynolds as he's a producer. So that's all very weird. But yeah, he might be there. If there's a Welcome to Wrexham panel, that's one of those panels I'd be like, I'm going, even though I don't have to write about it, because I love that show. So yeah, I mean but that's an example of, we said before, what are you going to miss? Deadpool 3, because I was sure he was going to be there because Wrexham is playing in San Diego a couple days later.
Yeah. Well, unless we had any other reader questions, I think, Germain, we can probably have you tell our readers where they can find you online. And we greatly appreciate you showing up to talk about this every year.
No, I love to do it, and thank you for having me, and I'm glad it worked out. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at my full name, Germain Lussier, and I write for IO9, which is part of Gizmodo. So visit io9.com or gizmodo.com, and that's where you can find all my stuff. And you'll see me walking around Comic-Con with a bag, with no idea what to do. I'll be down in San Diego, and about 7 miles away at the hotels is where you'll find me for sure.
And we'll find you in.
Maybe by the pool.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you again so much for joining us.
No, have a great rest of your podcast. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Germain.
Thanks.
Well, that's always fun. I mean, obviously, I wish we had better news about Hall H, but it is what it is. It's going to be a weird year. I mean, there's no getting around it. We've been saying that for weeks now. I know everybody is sick to death of my strike talk with Carrie, but hey, hopefully you felt more prepared. So speaking of strike talk with Carrie, should I do my quick little recap of where we are?
Sure.
Okay, so the DGA ratified their agreement. That means that very officially the directors are not on strike. So as Germain said, directors can still go to Comic-Con. SAG negotiations are still ongoing. Like he said, a couple of big players like Jennifer Lawrence and Meryl Streep did put out a letter today, basically saying like, hey, you need to make sure that you actually get us what we want because we're prepared to go on strike. And the reason that they did that is because over the weekend, the leadership for SAG put out a video that basically said like negotiations are extremely productive. And that's typically the sort of announcement that you make if you are very close to signing an agreement, because why would you give away all your leverage by saying we're super happy with how things are going? Like, so I don't know. I actually feel like because of that video, SAG is likely to reach an agreement by the end of the week, but we will have to stay tuned to find out. I do think that it's worth pointing out that for the last couple of negotiations, they have actually, I think, closed the agreement on July 4th. So it's not like a drop dead July 1st, they're on strike. If negotiations are still proceeding and they're going in a good direction, like leadership won't necessarily call a strike on July 1st. They can keep talking. So it may actually be a couple days into July before we hear something, but hopefully we will hear something at the end of this week about actors, and then we'll just kind of have to see what happens after that.
Stuff. will
Stuff.
happen.
And that's Strike Talk with Carrie.
Yep, that's about it. Shall we get into the actual news?
Yes.
Okay, so we have launched our annual list of announced panels. This is not all panels. I've seen several people like screenshot my like movies and TV list and be like, this is leak. And I'm like, but it's not all the panels. This is literally just what we know. It's probably like, I haven't counted today, it's probably like 65 panels or so that we know of. Again, this is not everything. The official schedule should come out daily, July 6th through 9th, just like always. But this is just what we know. That's it. You can find that updated every freaking day.
So that means the schedule's coming out next week.
Yep, starting next Thursday, July 6th.
So close.
And
But
yet
then,
so far.
it is 22 days away till Comic-Con, and it does not feel like it really.
Yep.
I mean,
yep,
That,
3
the
weeks
the
from
amount
tomorrow.
of-
okay, good. I thought I was going insane. Like, oh yeah, Comic-Con's wait a minute. It's 3 weeks. Jeez.
Yeah, that's 3 weeks.
I was thrilled today when we got so much news because I have just been waiting because I'm like, the longer it's quiet, the worse it's going to be in the last 2 weeks. So bring on the news.
So
Open the floodgates, bring it on. Yeah.
we also got what may have been the final trolley wrap.
I think so.
And it was one that, yes, it is for Comic-Con because it's Carl's Jr. and the return of the El Diablo in some mix of promotion with the Diablo 4 game, I think. Maybe.
Is it?
Maybe?
Maybe. I don't even know. All I know is that I was talking to MTS about like what trolleys they had, and they gave me a list and Carl's Jr. was on it. And I was like, are you sure that one's Comic-Con? And they said, yes, attendees have to eat too. Like, okay, all right.
And it's fair because a lot of us forget.
But also we got the Impact Winter from Audible wrap today. And last year, I think they had a wrap on the trolley as well. They had those sandcastles out in the gas lamp, and they had a panel, right? For the Moriarty.
Yeah, and that's what the wrap was too. On the trolley was Moriarty.
So this, if you were following that, that means that we possibly will get an Impact Winter panel, and possibly we'll get an Impact Winter offsite of some kind, even if it's just creating sandcastles.
And I think it's worth pointing out that, again, because this is Audible, this is an audio book, which has absolutely nothing to do with movie studios, that they could totally bring actors. Like, that is not against anything. And it has quite a stacked cast, doesn't it, James?
Yes. And that actually answers the question that Fire Fairy 1212 had about whether or not it affects Audible. And it doesn't, because it is not part of the union.
Yeah, it's part of SAG, but it's got nothing to do with the AMPTA, which is who they're negotiating with.
Right. And I think that was about it for the wraps. I think we've already talked about all the other trolley wraps that have premiered. And that looks to be about it for this year. But
it's a wrap on wraps.
It's a wrap on. Yeah. The other some of the other major news that we got today was Funko announcing the return of Funkoville, which is basically their name for their booth. And they just keep retheming it to whatever they have for that's showing up. Like this year, they have a Blockbuster Rewind shop because that's their new product line with those VHS cassettes, essentially, that look like Blockbuster rental cassettes. So they're going to be massive up there in the corner near where Warner Brothers DC used to be. They're taking over a lot of space. But also we found out for Fun Days that they put up 2,700 tickets available, and we don't know how many they kept for their forums and their giveaways that they were doing on the website through the fan rewards program and anything else they may be keeping them for. But we do know that at the Hyatt, I think that ballroom had like a max capacity in that in that setting of about 2,000 people. So it's definitely holding more people. They're definitely having more people at Fun Days than they used to. And of those 2,700 tickets available, there were over 50,000 users in the queue when the event launched. So that's why it sold out really quickly.
Yep.
That will definitely do it. But moving on from Funko, because personally I hate how much I love Funko, and anyway, I won't get started on that. What I will get started on is Book World, presented by Penguin Random House, is bringing a lot of signings, panels, and giveaways this year to Comic-Con. They'll be at booth 1514 and 1515 with signings with, let's see here, they've got Alexandra Bracken, Pierce Brown, Wesley Chu, Max Brooks, Genevieve Gornichek, and there's a lot of names on here. And they've got panels. You'll find a lot of those on the panels post that Carrie was talking about. Again, they're only the panels we know about, not all the panels so far. So yeah. And that is about it for Book World. It really is. It seems a lot like one of those old school book fairs that we used to have at school.
Well, speaking of panels that we know about, James, why don't you tell us about a couple?
It was Germain actually kind of mentioned about Lionsgate movies not showing up, but the TV side definitely is. It looks like we're going to get 3 panels on Thursday. We're going to get the CBS comedy Ghosts on Friday. We're going to get The Continental, the upcoming John Wick prequel series that will be on Peacock. And on Saturday, we're going to have a panel for Heels, a professional wrestling series that is going to be on Stars. We have no word. What's that?
I was just going to say, I think it's been on before. Like, I think this is the second or third season.
Okay. There's no word on who's going to be there or what's happening, again, because of the strike. So we're just going to have to wait and see where and when these things show up. I think Ghost was in Ballroom 20.
It was
previously.
Yeah,
so likely...
you were in that panel.
I know, that's why I'm saying I remember seeing it. I just don't remember if it was Ballroom 20.
You were sitting beside me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We were there. I remember it. And actually it made us want to watch the show because the cast was really engaging. So
that's what I did too. I just watched it like 3 months ago or something.
There you go.
Because of Comic-Con.
A sit-through panel for, of all things, a CBS show.
I know. I can't even make fun of them anymore.
Carrie, you stayed awake. I cannot believe. I'm proud of you. I am proud of you.
I stayed awake. I enjoyed it.
Watched the show it was promoting.
Shocking.
What is the world coming to?
I don't know. I mean, the world has fallen off its axis. As we talked about earlier, there are unfortunately several studios who are skipping. Netflix, which I don't know that they were really ever planning to come this year. They also don't have a booth, kids. Sony is going to be skipping. We already knew HBO is skipping. Lionsgate, like we mentioned, will not be there on the film side, but they will be there on the TV side. Max, which is not the same thing as HBO. Max is just the streaming platform only. They will be there, it sounds like, with some of their animation stuff, but I am still keeping my fingers crossed for our Flag Means Dead. And then, like we mentioned earlier as well, Paramount is bringing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So we have at least one movie at Comic-Con. Yay!
I'm hoping for Star Trek too. I'm not going to lie.
It did not, according to the trades, it did not sound great for a chance at that. But
I know.
I will say that, like, there's a bunch of weird stuff on the trolleys for Paramount Plus, and sometimes that equals something cool. So we'll have to, including Star Trek, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
And for Star Trek, there wasn't a definitive "we're not coming" like there was for HBO and Netflix and things like that. So it's still unknown, but not looking good. So at least it's not definitive like it was for some of the others.
Yes, correct.
And so speaking of all of those hours that it looks like we may be spending walking around this year instead of sitting through panels, or if you do still plan to sit through panels, there's what do you bring in your backpack? And Sean of Parks and Cons went through what he keeps in his backpack and for things like poster tubes and all that. And that video is up on our site and on YouTube if you want to go searching for it. And it's a lot of good information. And they will be continuing to put out more helpful tips and information that we will be posting on the site as we get closer to the con.
Yeah.
All right. And we were talking about the trolleys earlier, and we have a little more trolley news to tell you guys. MTS, which is the San Diego organization that runs the trolleys, has extended their trolley service once again for San Diego Comic-Con 2023. If you guys remember, they open up that special red line for special events. They will be opening that again this year. Something a little bit different is that the stadium stop once again is open because the stadium is now finished, but it is not on the map as a parking area. So if you used to park at the stadium, if you're planning on doing that again, now that it's open, it doesn't look like that is an option this year. I don't know exactly if that's going to be a permanent thing or if it's going to just be until they're through, I guess, working out logistics with the stadium. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't park there again, but it is a stop.
Yes. We had lots of other news, but real quick, I want to answer a couple of questions in the chat. Sylvia asked, what about Fox, FX, and FXX? We have not heard anything about those. So TBD. I mean, they are owned by Disney, but just because I feel like that announcement that like Disney isn't going was really just about Hall H and the movies. I don't feel like it necessarily includes TV shows.
Yeah,
So,
it would be something like this is Disney Studios, not the other companies that are a part of the Disney company.
yes, it would be like Disney TV
Right.
Studios. Somebody asked, I saw it. Oh, Alex asked, any word about the fun zone out by Petco? You mean the interactive zone? And yes, we know that is back because the Hello Kitty food truck announced, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, that they will be out there. So yes to that. We've had lots of other news on our site, including Critical Role will be back with not one, but two panels at Comic-Con this year, including one in Ballroom 20. So hey, we at least know there's a Ballroom 20. Super Impulse will also be at the convention this year. They are bringing their Pop Taters, which are basically like pop culture-ified Mr. Potato Heads. You will be able to get your first look at the new line at their booth, as well as pre-order those. If you do not have badges yet, or if you know anybody who doesn't, IDW is giving away badges, airfare, a hotel stay, and kind of a VIP experience at their booth. We also got more panels from Webtoon, which includes several creators, including Rachel Smythe and more. We also, Parks and Cons hopped over to a new restaurant option at the Hilton Gas Lamp called the Wild Hare, so you can check that out. We've been posting some stuff about Sweet Things, which is the awesome frozen yogurt place at the base of the Bayfront. You can find all that on our site. Again, for those who are concerned that Marvel not being there means Marvel completely, we are only talking about Hall H. They will still be on the show floor, and we are positive of that because they announced their costume contest for their booth. So they for sure still have a booth on the show floor. And if you're interested in the adult costume contest, you can find the details on our site. And then for our podcast listeners who also maybe have kids, Greeking Out, which is a National Geographic podcast, they will be hosting a live show at the convention, but we don't know yet if that means a panel or something else.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of news in the last week. That's for sure.
Take a breath, Carrie.
Yep.
But we also have offsites, and we had quite a bit of offsite news, including one of the main things that a lot of people look forward to every year, one of the biggest parties. And what party is that? Carrie, why don't you talk about it? Because you love this party. So
It's fun. I like fandom. Fandom is returning. It is probably the coolest free party that Comic-Con attendees get to go to, but unfortunately it's really hard to get a ticket. But it will be back on Thursday, July 20th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Float, which is at the top of the Hard Rock Hotel. That's where it's been in previous years. They will have live music. They have not yet announced it, but you will get to step foot into Fan Central, and they have all kinds of fun sponsors this year, like Paramount Plus is going to have some fan first activations for several of their shows there, including Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Yellow Jackets, EA's upcoming video game Immortals of Avium will also be there in some capacity. Z2 Comics will be there with custom comic activations, and so will Pinfinity, who, if you went last year, they gave you like a little pen that had an augmented reality element to it. So that will be back. Stay tuned to Fandom social media for how to get your tickets. No, I do not know when the tickets are going to launch, and that's not me just saying that. I have no idea. So TBD, make sure you stay tuned. Again, it's not a lot of tickets. If they do it like last year, when you sign up, you'll be able to get a +1, but they go like that. So, I will say last year, the day before, they did announce like, hey, we're going to put tickets up tomorrow. They will not give a time, but they did announce like, hey, it'll be at some point tomorrow. So it's kind of like Fun Days where you just have to sit there and stare at Twitter for your entire day. Fun.
And bosses love that.
So much.
Yes. So there was also some announcements for what's coming to the Comic-Con Museum this season, and that includes the Cartoon Studios is doing a Legacy of Stan Lee exhibit that is going to start on July 18th. So it's kicking off right in time for Comic-Con, and it's going to set to run basically for up until like early next year. And it's going to have a bunch of paintings by Stan Lee, or of Stan Lee by the painter Rob Pryor. It's going to have a whole section devoted to Marvel, just a bunch of stuff relating to Stan Lee and all of the work he's done through comics and in pop culture throughout the years. Tickets for the museum are $25 for adults and can be purchased in advance on their website. And they are also launching new exhibits for Cowboy Bebop, My Hero Academia, and more. So these ones will also be launching on the 18th. So they're working with Mondo and Crunchyroll to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Cowboy Bebop. There's going to be some new art that is going to be on there, and there will also be an installation for My Hero Academia, which features a statue of the historic Battle of Camino from the series. Basically, just a bunch of cool stuff that is coming. And then there was also an If Then Steam Fair that is going to be during Comic-Con from Friday the 21st to Sunday the 23rd from 10:30 to 1:30. It's a family-friendly event from the American Association for the Advancement of Science. So there's a bunch of that. And then there's also the Cardboard Hero Superheroes Workshop. That will be the 20th during Comic-Con. And again, tickets $25. You can get them online. So there's plenty of stuff to do. If you're one of those people who doesn't have a badge for one of the days of Comic-Con and you want something to do, there's plenty to do at the museum.
And even if you do have a badge, they're open the Tuesday before and the Monday after. So if you are in town a little bit early or late, you can always swing by.
And it's time. We actually talked about this long ago, and I think maybe the first podcast of the season.
It was back in April. Yeah, because I had to change the date on it today.
It's time to hold onto your butts because we got the details about the 30th anniversary Jurassic Park offsite. It's only going to be for 2 days. It's starting on Thursday. You'll be able to make your reservations for it on the official website. It will recreate the Dilophosaurus attack on Dennis Nedry, the infamous toilet scene. There's going to be giveaways and food, and I think there's even going to be a gift shop recreation. So
yes. It said that there'll be a visitor center for shoppable product displays and more. So tickets go up this Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you want to try to snag one of those free time tickets, make sure you do this. It looks cool. And I will say, I was excited about this until I saw what Jurassic Park did in Australia, and I was not excited. But this looks cool again. So
It's more than just like a screen that you can take a photo in front of, right? We're like, hey,
Correct,
you can
yeah.
walk through the gates and then you can take a photo and then there's the exit. So it's a little bit
no.
more than that.
No, James, they had someone in like an inflatable dinosaur costume as well. Let's not forget
Well,
that.
now that
on.
just like elevated it, like it's
That-
now
yeah,
twice
Go
that's
on
as
another
like,
level.
there.
it's now
Oh, yeah,
twice
yeah.
as good. So
I feel like twice might be a little too high, but yes. So actually, I will say our friends at MVE, it looks like, are doing this. So based on how awesome Dungeons and Dragons was last year, I have high hopes for this one now.
It also reminds
All
me that my
right.
30-year class reunion is this year.
All right, let's talk about Neopets. And I feel like I've said this, if you're on the Patreon podcast, you may have already heard my little rant. I feel like everybody is making fun of this party because it's Neopets. And I get it. Like, Neopets was big when I was a kid, but we get asked all the freaking time, like, where are the free parties at Comic-Con? Here's the free party with food, drinks, swag. And it does not sound that hard to get into. So quit complaining to me and go to the Neopets party.
get one of your hits of nostalgia for the con. Go to the Neopets party.
Yes. Okay.
Don't be so
the-
judgy. Don't
the
judge a
party
party.
is-
Just go.
I think it sounds fun.
And it's probably a blast.
I actually think this sounds fun. If I wasn't really hoping that there was a Good Omens screening that night, I might even try to go to this. But anyway, Friday, July 21st, 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. at Deck 665. In order to attend, you have to swing by the booth, which is booth number 1129. Again, you can find all that information on our site. Pick up a ticket, it's free, and then you just like go. And again, they will have like a live DJ, Neopian themed food and drinks, photo ops, swag bags. It sounds really cool. And I even know, bless him. Oh, I love him, but he's a weirdo. He loves Neopets. He is flying in for this. Like, in the Neopets world, this is a big deal. So again, Comic-Con attendees, I have done my civic duty, hopefully, of talking up this party.
Tickets just sold out. They don't even know it yet, and they just sold out.
Yep. I mean, if there's not a whole lot of stuff to do on panels and stuff, there's going to be more people on the floors, and they're just going to run by this booth and pick up some party tickets. Party,
Yeah, do it.
party
go
like
to the
it's
Neopets party. And
Party like it's
okay,
what year?
mid 90s.
yeah,
1995, something like that.
Okay, the other thing I want to say, because Neopets has held parties before Comic-Con, if the tickets are gone, it may still be worth swinging by, because in years past, I've heard that like no one was at their parties, so they may just be like, "Come on in."
Iron Souls gives a review because he's gone in the chat. He says it's not bad. Got two free real drinks, some stickers, some mozzarella sticks. Didn't pay a dime. It was a little packed, but you know, all that stuff.
All
so
right.
I mean, hey, that sounds like a good time to me. So
Yeah.
yes, go to
Mozzarella
Neopets.
sticks.
Stop complaining to me that there are no free parties. Do that instead.
well, what else we
Andy.
got going on, Andy?
Well, we mentioned earlier that Kevin Smith was coming back, and it definitely is. Not just a Hall H, though. If you remember last year, he took over the tin roof at 401 G Street. Looks like he is slated to do that again this year. Just the other day, they posted a little teaser. San Diego, he's coming. It's the Movies pop-up version of his fictional restaurant from Clerks 2 and Clerks 3. This is the real life version where you can get, I don't know, some food that doesn't really look that healthy, but is probably absolutely delicious. And he's also, of course, going to be doing his live shows like he did last year again, and did live shows and all that kind of stuff, doing Hollywood Babylon, Fat Man Beyond, and again, probably Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. So look for Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, Mark Bernard, and all coming back to Comic-Con this year.
And James, why don't you tell us about another fictional restaurant?
We hyped this up when Germain was on. We're getting a Sonic the Hedgehog restaurant. What is a Sonic the Hedgehog restaurant? We don't know. We just know it's coming, And now we are waiting very impatiently for news about the Sonic the Hedgehog restaurant. That's all
So
we
many
know.
people were excited about this. I feel like whatever it is, it's going to be swamped.
And the
the graphic-
restaurant, the graphic has chili cheese dogs, it looks like, which
Yep.
Sonic makes those.
Yeah.
I mean, not the Hedgehog, the restaurant. But wait, there's a Sonic the Hedgehog restaurant. This is going to get confusing if it is Sonic. We have to keep referencing which one's which here.
I might be totally off base, but I just keep saying, like, if I was Sonic the Hedgehog, like, I would partner with Sonic the restaurant because literally the names are the same. And again, they sell chili cheese dogs, they sell blue slushies, like, done.
And if I was Sonic the Hedgehog, I would, of course, absolutely partner with Sonic the restaurant because you need so many calories to keep running that fast. So this would be a very good place to get all of those calories.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
Whomever they partner with, just know that you've got 2018 Taco Bell to compete with.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's still top tier number one.
So you got to step up, people. That,
Yeah.
and if you're putting anything out in the gas lamp, you got to compete with KFC statues and benches. So, I mean, let's
But
go,
the
people.
bar is high. Wendy's brought a bacon boat. Like, come on. I mean, the bar is very high indeed.
Yes. All right.
Let's talk. I'll talk about this one. Let's talk about the Her Universe fashion show, which we did know was coming back, but we got a few more details. It will be on Thursday night, as per usual, at the Manchester Grand Hyatt at 6 p.m. We learned this week that it will be in celebration of Disney's 100th anniversary, and it will be co-hosted by Michael James Scott, who is currently starring in the Broadway production of Aladdin as the genie. He is expected to perform, so that's kind of cool. So you'll get a live musical performance, and then the lobby will also be themed to The Nightmare Before Christmas with some fun photo ops. They'll have, you can spend Oogie Boogie's prize wheel, so they'll have prizes and more. So if you want to attend this, the way that they normally do this is they have wristbands, and you just show up like earlier in the day, get your wristband, and then normally you can leave and then just come back. But that is normally how that works, and it's free.
Yep. And then we also mentioned this earlier when someone asked about the interactive zone, and the Hello Kitty Cafe truck will be back, and it will be in the Petco interactive zone from Thursday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and then Sunday from 10 to 4. They'll be serving up treats that are available for purchase, as well as some merchandise. They're going to have things like a 3-piece hand-decorated cookie set, an 8-piece Madeline cookie set, some chef cookies, some macarons, and more. Basically, if you want the food you're eating to be cute as well, then you need to head over to the Hello Kitty food truck.
Yep.
And it's a food truck.
Yeah, exactly. We've had more news, and I did just want to mention that if you are heading to Balboa Park, specifically for the museum, you can also swing by the San Diego Automotive Museum, which is literally next door. And if you show your badge, you get 50% off. And they've got some fun, like nerdy themed cars. Like they've got a custom USS Discovery Polaris Slingshot, and then they've got a car that looks like Darth Vader, a Volkswagen Passat resembling if Darth Vader had a car. I'm not a car person, so, but it's a good deal. Let's talk about exclusives. I'll start.
I love exclusives.
Give it a second.
Sure.
Let's talk about some of the stuff with that we don't need the slides for first, which
Sure. Do you want me to
let me
just
talk about,
run
actually, let me do
down?
this one first. Peach Momoko is, as we mentioned before, is going to be attending Comic-Con for the first time. And we found out that she is going to be sharing the booth with Addie Granov. Trinity Comics Group will be releasing 3 covers, including Peach's first official Comic-Con exclusive that will have her logo on the back. The booth is going to be 55-57. They're going to be releasing set of 2 books from Granoff and 2 of Peach Momoko's for special order before the show. And the first 300 to get those will have guaranteed access to a very limited SDCC booth exclusive. So basically, if I think it's basically you have to buy something in advance and then show up to pick them up, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, yes. It sounds to me like you basically have to buy this set. And then if you do that, like you can show up.
Yeah. So there'll be more details upcoming, and we will have them once they are available. All right. So let's get into the rest of the exclusive, starting, I think, with you, Carrie, with Entertainment Earth.
Sure. So let's start with
It's going to go.
You're fine. I think we're starting with Homelander. Or are we starting with the geekies? I don't even know.
It's all of them at once. So just whichever one.
Okay. We had a couple of exclusives from Entertainment this last week, starting with The Boys Collection Homelander Bloody Version vinyl figure. It's $29.99. He's 4.5 inches tall. Again, I mean, it's Homelander and he's bloody and it's kind of cute. And then Chainsaw Man, we got another 4.5-inch figure for that. Same thing, $29.99. If you are excited about Disney 100, Loungefly has a Disney 100 Fab 5 Heritage Sketch mini book, which will be $69.99. It's got adjustable straps, zipper top, and front closures, and it's just super cute. So that's Entertainment Earth. You, for all of their exclusives, you can pre-order them now, so long as quantity is available, or you can swing by the booth and just buy it directly there.
All right, and you guys wanted me to talk about Monogram exclusives. All right, so let's see, what do we have here? First, we have. Dang it, I lost my window. There we go. Okay, so first we have the Stranger Things 3D foam bag clip set. This 4-piece set features Dustin, Eddie, Erica, and Mike in some of their most iconic season 4 outfits. It's going to be at booth 3645 for $30. We've also got the Yellow Jackets 3D foam bag clip set, also $30 at $36.45. And we've got the Squid Game deluxe gift set. That's what it is. Okay. And yeah, I think we'll emerge victorious with that one. That one's also it's got the 3D bag clip, 3 enamel pins. It's $40 at booth 3645. And then finally, we've got Hello Kitty and Friends deluxe gift set. They're limited to 500 pieces, but they come with 3 enamel pins featuring Bats Maru, Pom Pom Purin, and Pichaco as bread, and a matching lanyard with a bread bun dangled charm featuring Tuxedo Sam, My Melody, and Hello Kitty herself. Like I said, it's 500 pieces only, and it's going to be $40 at booth 3645.
And there's unfortunately a whole lot more, Andy.
Oh, there is. Yeah, there's more. Hey, look at that.
There's more.
But wait, there's more. It's Slices, it Dices, it Julienne's Fries. It's Wednesday Addams. No, it doesn't do that. It is the figural bag clip that will be limited to 600 pieces and available for $25. And we also have the D100 3D foam bag clip set. It's a 6-piece set. Celebrates characters spanning Disney's history with everything from, you got OG Mickey, Black Panther, Grogu, Stitch, Mrs. Incredible, Spider-Man. You got it. It's in there. This will be $50 at booth 3645 and is only limited to 200 pieces. And what else do we have here? We got, oh my goodness, why didn't I see Rocky the first time? I'm a Philadelphia boy. I should know this. So you've got the Rocky 3D foam bag clip set. Pays tribute to the 1976 classic MGM film with Rocky Balboa. And Rocky Balboa in gold metallic color. But personally, I think that looks like Adrian. I don't know. And then you've got Apollo Creed. Yo, Paulo. That'll be for $25 at booth 3645. And it's only limited to 299 pieces because I'm going to get one of them. No, it's 300 pieces. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Did I talk about the Stitch gift set?
I don't think so. Or the
I think I
Spy
missed that one.
and Family. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, it's $40, limited to 400 pieces, and it comes with 3 enamel Stitch pins as well as a Studious Stitch 3D bag clip. And then you got the matching lanyard with a Stitch dangle charm, which honestly would freak out my daughter when she was little. She used to think Stitch was out to get her. She was so scared of him. But yeah, you don't have to be afraid to swing by booth 3645 to pick it up for $40, and that's the cheesiest segue I can get.
So yeah, they've got a bunch of super cute stuff. That is the last of Monogram's exclusives. But they're really cute. I am in love with that Yellow Jacket set.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pick up the Rocky set.
All right, James, you want to tell us about some cool pins and tikis and other things?
From Twink, their Comic-Con exclusives and first to markets and debuts. First up, we have the Flash 24 karat gold slide open ring. So if you're watching this, you can see that the ring comes in a nice little fancy case, and it looks like it's just a ring, but that thing actually opens up a little bit and slides out to reveal where the costume would come from. So that's pretty cool. We also have some of the stuff I'm going to mention is not pictured, but they're going to have some geeky tiki killer clowns, like Shorty is $35. That's a debut. Rudy is also a debut, and Jumbo, all $35 each, all debuting at Comic-Con. And then we have the Mochi Oshi debuts of some 8-inch Harukis. We have Haruki Abokadashi, which is $12, and it's basically a cute avocado. And we have Mizuki Tapioshi, which is a boba tea. And we have Ryoto Burritoshi, which is also $12, and it looks like a burrito. And we have Murasaki Nasakoshi, which is an eggplant. And if you want to check these out, they're all on our site. We also have some other tikis. We have 3 different Pee Wee Herman ones, which is first, it is the Playhouse Tiki Totem 22-ounce ceramic mug. Also first to market, limited to 184 pieces. We have the Aloha Pee Wee 12-ounce mug, which is 154 pieces. And we have the Big Head Pee Wee 22-ounce, which is $40 and limited to 154 pieces. All of those are available on the site. And then we have the Great Garloo 14-ounce ceramic mug, limited to 104 pieces. And what else you can see on the exclusive front is this Wednesday Addams window pin for $10. It's limited to 1,008. We have the WB 100th anniversary Looney Tunes mystery machine pin for $15. And we have the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny hat and lasso pin. That is $10. That is limited to 1,000. And we have the Naruto 9 Tails glow in the dark pin for $10. That is limited to 1,000 of them. The Looney Tunes Harry Potter mashup pins, which are very cool. Those are limited to 1,000. And as you can see over there in the photo, you can see one of the tikis and the burrito of those debuts and premieres that are coming. So Toink is bringing a lot of fun stuff, and you can check them out. Let me get that number again. They are going to be
it's several booths,
multiple
actually.
Places, including the Tentacle Kitty booth at 1501, the Euconic booth at 1235, the Syndicate Collectibles at 4649, the Hulu booth, as well as
their regular booths are actually 3849 and 815.
So yeah, they're all over the place. So you do your research to figure out where to pick these up.
Yeah. Yes. And they've got more still to be announced. Let's talk about Martin Sue, who revealed some super cute pieces this week. In early July, we don't have a date yet, he will launch a pre-order for the originals. And the originals on all of these pieces are 3x4, but they come in a 4x6 frame with glass. The originals will be $150, but he also always does print sets. So if you don't want to pay $150, like, you can totally still get the print sets. But one of his sets is a Star Wars and Studio Ghibli mashup with 3 pieces, painting, dreams, and treats. He also did a Guardians of the Galaxy Cats one for his Heroes and Cats collection. And you might remember he did this last year with some Marvel characters. He had like Wanda and Loki with cat versions, but this year it's all about the Guardians. Again, same thing on the prices. And then he did a different Studio Ghibli and Star Wars mashup. And those are also pictured for This Is the Way Fireworks and Joyride. Again, all those will be up for pre-sale at some point in early July. We will post whenever we know that date. And anything that you pre-order, even now, even if you just place a regular order, if you use the code that is on our site, you can get it zeroes out shipping, and you can just pick it up straight at his booth like at Comic-Con. So that's kind of cool.
All right, can we talk about some Atomic Toy Box exclusives? Yeah, let's talk about these because these are some of my favorites. First up, let me see if I can muster up my best Jack Nicholson impersonation. If the Martians land, they're gonna need a place to stay, just like everybody else. All right, but
B plus.
that lead. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, that was pretty good. Yeah.
I had to leave you some room to grow, you know.
Thank you.
Good.
You know, I'm rusty. I gotta work on the vocal cords. But this one is Mars Attacks, the limited edition blacklight poster by Chemo. These are officially licensed by Topps and illustrated by Chemo. They measure 18 by 24. They're blacklight, and they come in either snot green or bubblegum colors. They're limited to strictly 150 copies, priced at $60 each. And they will be at the Atomic Toy Box booth number 3921, where you can say, "Dark is the suede that mows like a harvest." And of course, they've got the Garbage Pail Kids, which is, they're my generation. I collected all these growing up. We'll have Garbage Pail Kids limited edition blacklight posters signed and numbered by Joe Simcoe. These are, again, licensed by Topps and illustrated by famed Garbage Pail Kids original artist, Joe Simcoe. Again, these posters are 18 by 24. You get the Atom Bomb, which is one of my favorites, obviously, and a lot of the other characters, too. Again, either super snot green or you've got Eggplant. And each version is limited to 150 pieces, priced at $60 each. Again, at booth number 3921. And then
I just answered it in the chat, but I'm going to answer this question real quick. Ellie Champagne asked in the chat, will they have the Garbage Pail card treasure hunt again? And unfortunately, no. So sorry. Carry on.
Sorry, guys. We hate to be the bearers of bad news. We really do. But, we got to tell you that. We got to come tell you. So, but lastly, we've got the Garbage Pail Kids limited edition certified gross glow in the dark enamel pins, which is probably something I would have gotten when I was a kid. And yeah, I was probably too proud of it. These are 4 inches by 3 inches, they're 2 by 2.5 inches, and they come on a 4 by 3 inch backing card. You also get the exclusive promo trading card, also officially licensed by Topps, to 150 pieces each, and they will be available for $14.95 each at booth 3921.
And speaking of pins, yesterday's has some new exclusives. We have the Nevermore Academy hard enamel pin, which will be $10. Their booth, of course, is 1028. We also have the Toy Car 3D enamel pin, limited to 200 pieces. And there will actually also be a rare gold version of this pin, as you can see in the photo there. And the only way to get that pin is to buy one of the mystery boxes, which will have 5 random pins for $20. There will be 300 mystery boxes total, but 1 out of every 3 will actually have that Gold Chase Toy Car pin in it, which means that Gold Chase Toy Car pin sounds like it's limited to 100 pieces. So I did the math real quick there in my head. And we don't have a photo of them, but they announced that they will be doing sketchbooks that are available for the first time ever. It's a new product line.
And they're gorgeous.
That will measure 5¼ by 8¼ inches. They're going to have 80 pages. They will feature a variety of covers, including the exclusive SDCC version that will be $20 each, limited to 100 of each. They're black one with a yellow convention center and a yellow one with a black convention center. And then some others like the Necronomicon cover and the D20 cover. So these will all be $20 each. So if you are interested in sketchbooks, head on over to these super cool sketchbooks that are available for the first time ever from them.
They're really pretty. I just wanted to say that.
I agree. Yeah. Yesterday's is always one of my top stops when I hit the exhibit floor. But now we've got another exciting thing touching down at San Diego Comic-Con, and it is Stan Sakai's Space Usagi, the Stan Sakai edition. It will be for $99.99. We'll also have a signed version and remarked version, but this is manufactured by NECA and is a collaboration between Stan Sakai and Dogu Publishing. Space Usagi is presented in elegant black and white with exclusive metallic accessories, multiple hand sculpts, and additional head sculpt. So you get lots of options with this. You can pre-order it already from Stan Sakai's official website. You can find that link in our article. You can also pick up some. He will have some with him at booth 4807, not the NECA booth. If you're looking for one at the convention, you're looking for Stan Sakai's booth 4807.
He's also going to have that a more limited version of the Dogu cover version that is on the far right there. I think that one's more expensive and more limited.
Let me see here. Yes, that is correct. That version will be available for $250, and that is limited to 250 pieces worldwide.
And just to mention, because I just checked, it does look like the pre-sale online sold out. So if you want this, now the only way to get it is to head to Stan's booth at Comic-Con. Again, not NECA, Stan's booth. So
thank you.
okay, let's talk about Symbiote Studios. They announced some super cute little tiny plushes. They're only 6 inches, but it features their mascot, Catnip Bravo. If you've ever stopped by Symbiote Studios booth before to play rock, paper, scissors to win some prizes, that's who you've battled, as well as his best pal, Firecracker Raccoon. But each plush can sit on your shoulder, and they're only $12.99. So you can swing by booth 3249, to play your rock, paper, scissors and to win that. And then, as a special treat, we are announcing on this podcast their newest exclusive, which is this super cute tote bag. It is Catnip Bravo Coffee. Tote is the name. It is only $9.99, or it will be free at the booth with a $50 purchase. It's super cute, and it looks big. I've got a different photo that we'll put up on the blog here shortly after, but it's real cute. So
that is cute. It's got some, I'm sure, a lot of people's favorite things: kitty cats and coffee.
Yep.
All right,
absolutely.
So next up, we have Patrick Balstros with one of his new prints that is coming, the X Factory, The Last Stand, which is basically a bunch of mutants serving some food, some treats to a bunch of
popsicles.
Some
it's
popsicles.
The Pop Cycle Pack.
There you go. I get it now.
Oh.
And they're serving up to some of their friends who you may recognize from some other universes. That's an 8x8 print that will be at Comic-Con for $20. And you can also get a show special of any 3 Pop Cycle Pack prints for $50.
Yep. We have had plenty of other exclusive news. Jada Toys has a really fun Booberry, which will be up on Entertainment Weekly tomorrow at, I believe it's 12 Pacific time. Hyperactive Monkey started their announcements. They've got a little resin figure and then a book, which you can find all the information on that on our site. JYKL Day has been showing off his Power Rangers prints. Priscilla Wilson announced a few more items this week, including her wallet, which I love. I love the look of this. It's only 50 pieces. It's $25, so it's not that expensive. She also showed off some new pens, which again, everything's on our site. Furry Felines showed off their exclusives. Nick Kremenick showed off a new Project Reforge for Boba Fett. And again, the deal with those is if you have the original, all you have to do is show him proof of ownership and you can get the new print completely for free. Wolfgang Industries, who did those fun, amazing Spider-Man lenticulars last year, has them again in a slightly different format, and a few other exclusives available, all available for pre-order now. Factory Entertainment revealed some new exclusives as well, including a Peacemaker Baby Eagly plush. That one is $15. And then they also showed off a candidate chrome art statue from They Live. Fantagraphics has some autograph signings, and then we got news of a Werewolf Jones and Sons Deluxe Summer Fun Annual First that will be debuting at Comic-Con. Hero Complex Gallery, we got a look at the first exclusive from them, which artist Ryan Prestige will have an Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom short round piece. Udon started their announcements today with a Street Fighter 6 Capcom mashup shirt for $30. Alex Ross has been announcing several things as well. We got a look at his Marvel Villains piece, which will be available to purchase the lithograph or the canvas at the con. And he will also have a giant blown up one that will be one entire wall of his massive booth that you can go take photos with, as well as some Tales of the Titan #1 comic covers. There's 2 versions. And then finally, for this portion at least, we've got 2 more. Essential Sequential has several artists that they have exclusives from this year, including Frank Miller, Arthur Adams, J.G. Jones, David Finch, whole lot of folks. And then Top Cow, we got to exclusively announce their first exclusive, which is for Antarctica #1 with cover art by Abigail Harding, and it's only $10 at booth number 2629. And that hopefully does it for our exclusives.
So much stuff. I mean,
So much stuff.
And that's just the 3rd to 4th week out from Comic-Con. What's coming in the next week? And then the week after that.
We have seen nothing really from Hasbro. I mean, we got like kind of the one, but I'm not really counting that. We have seen nothing from Mattel. Is Lego going to bring anything? And I do not know the answer to that, even though I've been trying to get one from them. Mondo, Funko showed nothing. So, I mean, it's an interesting year. There's so much more to be had. We are scratching the surface.
So we have some reader questions, correct?
We do, yes, that I wanted to get to. I've been popping them in here. Sandra asked, are you all planning an after party this year? Not this year. I'm really sorry. We just needed 1 year off. I'm very tired. But we will be back next year, and we already have like plans and exciting things like in the works that we're super excited about. So we will be back next year, and Cups of Water will still be happening. You will still find James and I on the patch of grass by the Omni on probably Sunday morning. But Adventures of Prize Mule is back with how many different oh my god
companies helping provide prizes to everybody? It's well over 20, correct?
I think I'm at 25 right now. I haven't even posted the last couple. And I'll just tell you, because I'm still waiting on a logo. Hallmark is in, and I'm like 95% sure Figpin is in as well again. So
nice.
That should take us up to 25.
We added Roosevelt shirts as well, too, right?
Yes. And I know some stuff about that you guys don't, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm gonna keep my secrets. But yes, we have so many amazing companies. Like, it is insane, and people who we have never had before this year as well. Like they just said, Roosevelt's, which I didn't even know that was how we pronounced it. Will be in it this year. Monogram has never been in Prize Mule before, but they will be this year. Hasbro is back. Let me just read through this list. It's Bandai Namco, Toys and Collectibles America, Committed Comics, Cryptozoic Entertainment, Camilla de Erico, Diamond Select Toys, Entertainment Earth, Factory Entertainment, Hasbro, Kid Robot, Mondo, Monogram International, NECA, Priscilla Wilson, Symbiote Studios, Toddland, UCC Distributing, Upper Deck, Universal Pictures, USA Opoly, which is the op, Viz, Yesterday's, Roosevelt's. Yeah, I mean, just Hallmark, like I said, who I have not added. Mondo is giving us a poster. I don't think I said them. No, I did. So yeah, just a ton of stuff. So it'll be good. Them AC Phantom said, do you think we'll get the schedule 2 weeks out like normal, or with all the craziness, might we get the fully released schedule considerably closer to the convention? I think we will still get it 2 weeks. I think we'll still get it starting next Thursday. I mean, I have seen no indication that we won't. What I think might happen, though, is that we might see more changes to the schedule than normal, whether that means like things shifting around or canceling or getting added. I don't know, but I do feel like it could be more in flux than normal. James Binder asked, will we all be doing the traditional marathon panel shows when the schedule is released? Yes. And James, I'm going to let you talk about those.
We will be doing the annual breaking down the schedule panels during the schedule release weekend. So the first one will be on Friday, July 7th. And then the second one will be on Sunday, the 9th. We'll have those up right after the 4th of July weekend, so you can see what times. But the Friday one will be the standard podcast time of 6:30 Pacific. And on Sunday, it'll probably be 4 p.m. Pacific. And we'll just cover all of the main rooms like we usually do, break it down, room flow, and we'll basically have lots of comments about what we think is going on with when we finally see what is on the schedule this year.
Gonna be real interesting. Night Bodega asked, any word on what activation is taking the lawn by Hilton? Normally that's FX. Again, I feel like Disney saying, hey, we're not going. Or really, they didn't even say that. The trades announced like Disney Studios isn't going. I feel like what that refers to is Hall H and basically Marvel and Lucasfilm and like Disney movies. I don't necessarily feel like the TV side is going to be as affected, and I don't feel like that pertains to offsites. So I think there is a very good chance that FX still has the loan by the Bay, or by the Bayfront, but we'll have to stay tuned. James also asked about the pinball room at the Marriott. I haven't heard anything, but that doesn't mean anything. Chrono Chaser asked, any word on Mondo exclusives? Yes, we have had one. It was a Logan figure that I think will be about $200. We talked about that last week. It will be online, not at the booth, but it will release during Comic-Con, and it's part of their Let Comic-Con online releases. So we are still waiting on the official Mondo exclusives for this year, but they will have exclusives. And their booth at Funko is themed like a gas station, which I thought was interesting. Anna asked, will there be official Comic-Con shirts this year? I don't know, but I mean, they've released plenty of other merch, so I suspect yes. My guess would also be that it will be like the last couple of years, at least last year, with probably no pre-orders. It'll probably be just like show up and purchase on the spot, because we're, again, getting pretty close here to Comic-Con. So, and then Xavier Behavior asked, the floor map released? No, the floor map is not out yet, but I expect it out literally any day.
There you go.
Is that about cover it, guys?
I think so far. So we don't, do we have any contests up on the contest hub right now? I don't think we do.
We do. It's that IDW contest. Yeah.
Oh, right. IDW
contest.
All right.
Yep.
So that's up on the contest hub. And of course, at some point there were eBay auctions that the convention was running to support the museum.
I think they're back up because they're like tip today was about like the eBay auctions. But having said that, I love you, Comic-Con. But your tip yesterday was about like pick up your badges, and then the pickup badge schedule said like coming soon. So
But anyway,
maybe that's
other contests will show up on our contest hub when they are available on the site. Check it out.
Yes. I was just looking to see if the auctions are back.
And of course, we are doing our weekly attendee of the week. And if you would like to be considered to be on attendee of the week, you can just go ahead and check it out on the site, check out the post, and send in your information for that.
Auctions are back for the record.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause they went away for a little bit, right?
Yeah, for a couple days. But they're back. We have a Patreon, and if you appreciate the work that we do, we would love if you would join our Patreon. We make like no money doing this, but we certainly have expenses with our hosting and with other things. And we also just love to like bring you guys cool stuff. Okay. So we have some really fun giveaways this year on our end that we have not started showing off, but I am so excited for you guys to see some of this stuff. And our Patreon also has some fun perks like a shirt and a pin and some other cool stuff.
Oh, real fast. Night Bodega asked about the convention center chocolates. We haven't heard
It's
anything
back.
about those. Oh, it is back.
Yeah,
Outstanding.
it's back.
It will be back. We will just have
It will be back.
What random flavors we're getting this year that will be delicious.
Yeah, they
of
sent me a
course,
photo of it. They sent me a photo of it, but it was like wrapped in like, you know, the silver foil. So like no cover. So it was like, well, what am I gonna do?
Because
with
it
that?
takes them months to get it done, right? I mean, it takes them a long time to do it. So they have to have been working on it already.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for today. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you to Germain for joining us and talking about movies and such. We'll be back next week, of course. Although, isn't next week a holiday?
It is. So we will not be here next Tuesday.
We will be here
But
next Wednesday on the 5th.
And we will be talking about what TV shows are going to be coming up.
What maybe TV is showing up with
Eric Goldman of Fandom. Don't ask him about the party because he's not going to know anything, but we can talk to him about TV and panels, and he's awesome. I always appreciate when he comes on. And it might be like Germain today, where it's a lot of guess we'll find out when the schedule comes out, but it'll be interesting.
Yes.
You can sign up for a newsletter, which we have been sending over the weekends. The sign up form is at the very bottom of our site. It's giant. You truly cannot miss it.
All right. So again, thank you all for joining us. If you were watching live, and all of you who are listening now in the future, we appreciate it. And Andy, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as SDCC Wacky Wags. Or if you are into the cannabis community and industry, you can find my work there at SDCannablogger. Carrie, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon if you really want, but it's mostly just me talking about TV. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me everywhere at Dan Regal, and all the social medias and whatnot. You can check out geekshotphoto.com for links for my wife and I. And Beth, my wife, is the producer of the show. She does the slides, does the editing, gets it into your ears, all that kind of stuff. And also, I am on a new podcast covering the new Disney trading card game called Lorcana. The podcast is called Citizens of Lorcana, and you can check that out weekly, every Friday, in your ears on all your favorite podcast platforms.
We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog, or you can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We're also on Stitcher Radio and Spotify, and the links are in the show notes.
And if you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you all for listening, and everybody go.
Shawarma.
There we go. Good to go. All right. doing it up, ending everything.